What's up, everybody? I'm Miaira Jennings.
And I'm Dominic Santana.
And you're watching Worldwide Entertainment TV.
WorldwideEntertainmentTV.com, official media platform for the Legacy Park home of the new Tupac statue.
Hey guys, welcome back to Worldwide Entertainment TV. I'm Miaira Jennings, and I am sitting here in YouTube Space LA with the very talented Dominic Santana, who plays Suge Knight in the upcoming Tupac biopic All Eyez On Me, out June 16th.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How's your time been in LA so far?
LA is always fun. This time around, though, it's a lot of press and work, but It's fun work.
Yeah, definitely promoting the movie and getting ready for everything. Must be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's insane.
Bro, Pop?
Big Suge. What's up with it?
Same old same. Brought you a little gift.
For one song?
I told you it was more than just about the music, didn't I?
Man, that's what's up right there. Get all this goddamn money, hey.
Now, in preparation for the role of Suge Knight, what exactly did you have to do? Did you research? Did you stay in character all the time, even when you were out of scenes? How did that work for you?
I did a lot of research. I did a lot of reading old articles, staring at pictures of Suge Knight, different pictures, from different time periods, watching videos, finding like old obscure videos of maybe like behind the scenes with him and Tupac, so I could see them interacting.
Right.
Outside of just what the media showed. Just listening to him talk, seeing the kind of words, his vernacular, all that stuff. And just really kind of trying to get everything down pat. And then I was fortunate because in this movie there are people involved who were at death row, who, were around and knew or still know Suge, knew Tupac, all that. So there was people there that could tell you like, no, I know him. That's, that's not how he is.
Yeah.
Or do more like this or that, stuff like that. So I had a lot of consultants, basically. Yeah,
that's good. It's always good to have someone who is close to the character or the actual person to give you pointers.
We're family. And tonight the whole family's here for your night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, take the your night out. Yeah, because it's done. It's like your night, it sounds on.
So what was it like working with the rest of the crew and the cast, and had you worked with any of them before this film?
I think there was like one crew member I had worked with. Everybody else I had never worked with before, So it was pretty amazing. We all just really bonded. There was no drama, no craziness happening. I mean, outside of like, meeting timelines or weather and stuff like that. But crew-wise, that's what I think what surprised me the most was there was no drama. Usually somebody freaks out at some point on a film. It just happens, period.
Right.
But, it wasn't happening on our film set. We had a lot of fun. And we bonded a lot. And then everybody that was involved also had a love for Pac.
Right.
So everybody's mindset was like, we got to do this right.
Big Suge. All Eyez On Me got the world shook.
There have been a number of other films and documentaries that revolved around Tupac and his story, but this one seems to be a lot more in depth than what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So I'm personally excited to see that. Did that make it more meaningful for you all to actually know that this is going to be like really, really in depth and really detailed, and just hopefully to, like you said, live out his legacy?
Yeah. I was really excited and happy about that. It wasn't what, it's funny because a lot of people were, giving their 2 cents, of course, without knowing what the movie's about, like toward the beginning.
Right.
And so it's like, I saw where some people were saying things like, probably just going to show us everything we already know. And it's actually quite the opposite, So it was shot more like in the vein of like Ray, You know, not just like Ray, but how it was. It was. You had Ray's music in it, but it wasn't focused on his music. It was focused on Ray the person and what all came together to make Ray Charles, and that's how this was. And then they got people, you know, they had Oscar-winning, you know, editor, and you know, just a lot of the crew, the DP, a lot of people involved were like either legends or, you know, big names. That's the thing. Like if you look on like IMDb or see who all was involved, you'll see it's not just, you know, stars in front of the camera, but then it's like, you know, stars behind the camera, and you get to see his interaction with his mother. And that's the other thing I love too, because people that don't really know Pac's story, they know the music, things said in music. So they know Afeni, and they think of Afeni on drugs and all that, but they don't see that she was so much more. And it was also during the time where the crack epidemic hit, you know, when he was a child. And crack wasn't viewed as, you know, now we think of people on crack like, oh, crack hit it, you know. But a lot of people don't understand the history of it. When crack hit the scene, it was kind of touted like, you know, smoking weed or something like that. So a lot of people were like getting into it, not realizing down the road, hey, this is going to really jack me up. We know that now, but in the beginning, it was like a party, you know, a party drug. Oh, this is okay. You know, and so, and some of the stuff they were going through, especially in the inner city areas, urban areas, low income areas, you know, people, they like to forget. So people either drink, you know, smoke marijuana or whatever. And, so, you know, she kind of got caught up in that whole phase like millions of other people did, and then found out too late that, no, this is really going to mess you up. And so seeing him deal, you know, seeing her before that, and seeing the bright, intelligent, activist, you know, strong, powerful woman, you know, and then you get to see where that part of Pac came from. From his stepfather, Afeni Shakur, and his mother, you know, and his aunt, Afeni Shakur, and just them being involved in the Black Panthers, and just really standing up for the community and Black people, and seeing, you know, and that's why, you know, that's how you find out, you know, why Pac was so adamant about, you know, rising the people and, you know, being Black is beautiful, you know, that whole aspect of him.
While you were researching and preparing to play Suge, were there any things, any details in particular that maybe you didn't know before that surprised you, or that you are looking forward to the audience seeing besides everything that you just mentioned about Pac? Was there anything about Suge that maybe people don't know?
I think something I've been talking about a lot lately. People have this persona of Suge just from the media.
Right.
You know, so it's real negative. You know, and I think it's the residue left over from the death row era.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, he did create this persona where it was actually brilliant at the time, you know. And then I think it just kind of, you know, snowballed, you know, after a while into something negative. But the whole thing about just, you know, especially being a Black male in the 90s, owning a record label, if you were even lucky enough to make that happen, you know, a lot of times they got pushed around and told what they can do and what they can't do, and limited. But Suge's idea was like, not me, you know, that's not going to happen. And sometimes you have to do a couple extreme things to show them, like, I'm not that dude. Like when I say, you know, if you do right by me, I'm going to do right by you. But if you screw me, then I'm going to make sure you don't want to do it again, you know. And it didn't matter if it was a corporate office or somewhere in the club or street or whatever. And that was the thing about Suge and Death Row. It's like they built that persona like, you're not going to mess with us and think it's going to be okay.
Me and Suge are partners now.
Oh, okay, so first you say you're leaving, and now all of a sudden you guys are partners? Look, God, for somebody so smart, you know, you can...
Look, it ain't like that.
Apple 181 Baker, this is take 2.
We got Steve. The only marker?
But the only problem I see in that is, you know, when things kind of went downhill and Death Row fell apart, then it was like, you know, oh, now we're not too worried about it, you know, so now we can just say whatever in the media and make it all negative, you know. And then it all, you know, any of the good kind of faded, you know. I learned a lot about, you know, like the celebrities, you know, that used to, because it's funny, you never, and some, I'm going to leave them nameless, but some of them are like, you know, huge stars now, and I've never heard them ever mention anything about Suge Knight, Death Row. And then you sit and listen to the guys tell stories, and you're like, you know, some of these people when they were in their humble beginnings, you know, chasing after Suge and, you know, being up under Suge, and, you know, spending a lot of time with Suge and Suge taking care of them in different ways. And, you know, they really, a lot of people, you know, really mess with Suge heavy. But then after everything kind of went left, you know, they distanced themselves, they went on with their careers. But you never hear it. And if I told you some of the names, you'd be like, what?
Right. And it's crazy because it was such a big part of developing them as artists and as stars.
Yeah.
And like you said, some of us just never spoken of.
Right. And, you know, from some of the women that are stars now, you know, that were chasing after them, you'd be like, her? Really? Chasing after Suge Knight?
No names, not just one?
Nah, don't get me in there. I got to see these people.
Right.
Like, really?
That's
really?
all right.
You gonna tell my business, you know? But so you know, and that's the nature of this business, man. Stuff go left, people try to start distancing themselves from anything that could harm their image or reputation. But he also did a lot of really great stuff. No one talks about that. Nobody says anything about that. None of the people he helped, you know, none of that stuff gets brought out. And so, and don't get it wrong, I'm not saying Suge Knight is an angel. You know, all I'm saying is, you're gonna paint the picture of somebody, paint a whole picture. Say, yeah, there was some bad, you know, but yeah, he also did a lot of good too. I mean, let's look at that, and then make your judgment of what you think of him when you see all the good, and then, you know, the bad that's there.
So it's safe to say that we will get a multifaceted Suge in All Eyez on Me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
Fortunately, I wouldn't have done it if it was like, you know, some of the former movies, and nothing against the guys that have played Suge Knight before. As an actor, I'm a firm believer that, you know, people, they follow the lead of their director, you know, because I've been in movies where I'm asking the director, like, bro, can I act? Like, you just have me looking like a monster, and it doesn't make sense. No trick, you know, and I think that's how, in my opinion, that's how I've seen it portrayed, where it's just like, we don't really need a trigger. He's Suge Knight. Everybody's already got that connotation, so let's just jump right into the crazy. You know what I mean? Or let's focus on that stigma, you know. And so, with this movie, fortunately, going into it, you know, I talked with LT Hutton. We had a nice long talk in the beginning, and LT is someone that knows him, you know. So, like I said, some of the other guys know him, and you know, most of them, you know, still like him. There's some people that don't really care for him. You know, it's honest. The depiction is honest. You see some extreme stuff. You know, you get that side because things did happen. But you also see the trigger of why. Right. And then, you know, people, like most people would have been like, I might not have done that, but I would have done something.
Exactly.
You know, because you couldn't, some of these things you just couldn't let fly, you know. And, but then you also see the camaraderie, the brotherhood between him and Tupac. So you get to see the bantering, the playfulness, because that's something else I learned is, you know, they were big pranksters at Death Row. You know, they joked around a lot. It wasn't just all rah-rah.
Yeah.
You know, so I think more so in the public eye, it was like our Death Row persona. And then in private, you know, then it's like, okay, now we can just be normal human beings and laugh and joke and pull pranks on each other and all that stuff. So I thought that was real interesting because you never hear about that part.
You had to pack on a few extra pounds to play Suge, right? Was that hard for you, or was it just kind of easy?
Yeah, it was pretty simple.
Yeah.
Ice cream and pizza diet. Every night. I mean, I wasn't skinny, you know, at that time anyway, but, you know, just you know, Suge's a big dude, you know, so I had to fill out a little more. So, you know, just eating ice cream and pizza every night, literally.
Not too bad.
I don't
Not a bad part of the job.
Yeah, it was funny because I'd never been bald in my life. And I was born with hair, so I never even knew what that looked like. Yeah. You know, so that was also, you know, a real, huge change. I was like, I didn't know how I was going to look, and something I wasn't used to. And but I chopped it all off when I got the role, and I was like, it's not bad, So, but I like trying new things. So I was like, man, this is a hairstyle I've never tried,
Yeah. None.
Yeah. So I went bald, and bald with the beard, and oddly, it seemed like it's weird. It's like as I put on more pounds, went bald with the beard, it seemed like ladies were looking more. I was like, I was like, let me find out the bald brother's been holding out on us. And tell us a secret.
Yeah, you got the key now.
Yeah, I was like, what is it with the bald head and the beard? Okay.
You are an actor, writer, producer, musician, business owner. I feel like the list goes on, right? I mean, stop me now. But how do you balance all of those different aspects of entertainment?
It's honestly, it's just been time. As time goes on and you figure out other things you're good at, you kind of start adding pieces on, and they kind of just fit. They find their way into the groove.
Right.
And once you just get used to doing it over so long, then it's like, to you, it's normal. Where to somebody else, you just ask me, how do you?
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, like, how do you do all this? But my life has been pretty crazy anyway, and not in a negative way. But I've always been an entrepreneur. I've had nightclubs, I've had some of everything, and I've always been a hustler and a grinder. And sometimes I feel like I've lived a couple lives in my time, and so I'm just used to that. I'm used to that, staying busy, and you just pick your times. You got, okay, this time I'm doing this, and now this time I'm focusing on writing on scripts. This time I'm focusing on pushing projects, or I'm focused on business, so you just balance it, do a little here, a little there, and putting deadlines on yourself, really.
Right.
Okay, now I'm focused, I'm done with this film, so now I want to focus on pushing this project I'm producing, and I want to get it done within this time frame, etc., and you go get it done.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's perfect because a lot of the most successful people can multitask like they can breathe,
Yeah.
And I definitely think you fall into that category. So
Well, thank you.
That's exciting. Absolutely. Yeah. So you just had a birthday.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that with age and experience comes wisdom. So what is the biggest lesson you learned this last year of life? And happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I did All Eyez On Me. It's a really special movie for me. And it's not my first big movie, but it's my first. I think it's the most impactful movie I've ever done, and I think it'll last for years. I know I'll never forget it. But yeah, so doing this movie definitely was a turning point for me, and definitely it wasn't on my bucket list because I didn't know it was even going to happen, but it felt like a bucket list thing, like the top. If I had a bucket list, it would have been at the top, and
Nice.
for it to actually happen. So my thing is, I think the biggest lesson I learned was, and it sounds probably kind of cliche, but to never give up, never give in. I already knew that, but it's different when you have your mind on a goal or something, especially one that may seem far-fetched. Because as an actor, you can ask other actors, we're all working and grinding to get to the point where you get that big mainstream boom, where you're like, because, I've been in it like 12 years. Some people know me. Some people have no clue, and you get tired of, hey, what do you do?
Right,
Like,
right.
I've been in all these films.
You don't recognize
People
me
still
by name?
asking me, what do I do? We're all working. It's thousands of actors, that are working to get to that big break, and so you get so caught up in the grind that sometimes you almost forget that, hey, you really can actually attain it. And that was my thing. Oprah Winfrey said something in an interview that really kind of inspired me, because other people were saying, oh, you need to, have a backup plan, you need a plan B or have something else going on. And, it's like it made sense, because you don't know, I know now, but at that time, you don't know if you're going to make it to the top, 5%. And so, but she said in an interview, I can't remember who she was talking to, but they were interviewing her and they were asking about, being motivated in your career and whatnot. And, she just said, if you really love it, and that's where your heart really is, and that's your passion, then you better not have a plan B. This plan B just it can give you a scapegoat. You know, it'll make you, you know, take the easier route out when it's too hard, or you know, and I was like, wow. And it's funny because, you know, people are like, how do you? My motivation was different earlier on, but then about the 10-year mark, you know, people are like, how do you stay motivated to keep trying and trying and trying? I said, well, you know, it's not even so much that I want to do it so bad anymore. It's that I have so much time in that if I quit, I have to, you know, sit there and throw away a decade of my life for nothing. And I was like, I just can't do that. You know, time is too valuable. I'm not willing to just throw away a decade. So now I got to do it. When I love it and I want to do it, I've always wanted to keep doing it. But, you know, it gets tiresome, just like anything. You know, you're like, am I going to make it? Because it's not like you go to school to become a lawyer. You know, once you pass the bar, you're going to get a job. You're going to have a career. You're going to live good. You know what I mean? Or going to be a doctor or something like that. This job isn't like that. You can work your ass off for years. You can do everything you're supposed to do, and you can hope and pray all you want and still never make it. You feel me? So you got to have the talent, you got to have the drive, you got to have the motivation, and somewhere in there you got to get lucky. Yeah. You know, and that's the part that sucks because you can't control that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're making all the right moves now.
Yeah, well,
Would
I
you
mean,
say that?
you run. The thing is, you run blindly. And you're like, well, I hope I'm feeling the right thing. I hope, you know.
Well, either way, you're making it for sure. So,
so you make your mistakes, and then you learn. Okay, I can't go there, and it kind of starts to shape your path. You know, so long as you learn. I like to tell people that, and so I'd like to tell your viewers that as well.
Of course.
Is, you know, in life, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have a lot of failures. Don't look at it as, you know, I see people that fail at something, or, you know, they have something negative happen to them in life and they just focus on it failing or focus on the loss instead of, you know, focusing on, all right, when something bad happens in my life or I fail at something, I stop and I go and I look and I look for all the lessons. You know what I mean? Okay, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this better. I could have done this different. And then I take that and then I keep going and go into the next thing. But this time when I come to that same stuff, I remember I have my lessons. And then you look up years later and like mentally you have this, you know, this anthology of lessons and they help guide you, you know. But if you just focus on the negativity, oh, woe is me. You know, why is bad stuff always happening to me? Well, because that's what I focus on. You know, bad stuff happens to everybody. But it's your perception. It's how you look at things. So definitely got to change your outlook on things and how you look at stuff. You know, I had businesses fail. And people are like, man, I know that hurt. I know you feel bad about that. No, I don't. Because you know what I learned in the process? Yeah. I learned way more than I knew the last time. So now the next one, you know, I did better. You know, so that's all. I get long.
I feel so inspired. I'm going to be driving home thinking about all of this. Yeah, so that's definitely a lot of good advice for our viewers and for people who aspire to be in your position now. But are there any other people? I know you just mentioned Oprah. Is there anyone else who you would say has had a strong influence over your career?
Career-wise, definitely Denzel Washington. Just Denzel's poise and how he's carried himself his whole career, and then his dedication to the craft. Denzel really kind of threw me when he started doing Broadway. Like I found out he loves Broadway. Yeah. And it's Denzel. He don't have to do Broadway. You know, he's got millions of dollars. You know, he does it for the love. See, I don't really like theater. Like I'll watch it, but as far as being in it, you know, because you have to have everything memorized. It ain't like film where you can mess up. And so you know that's too much pressure for me. But Denzel loves to do it. Just keep sharp. He respects it. You know, and he loves it. And, you know, I was like, wow, you know, it's Denzel Washington. He don't have to do theater. But he goes to it because he loves it. You know? And so he just makes you respect him because you know he's a real deal. And Samuel Jackson is another one. I remember Samuel Jackson from, you know, when he was Gator. And to see him go from Gator and being the guy that robbed the McDowell's and Coming to America, to go from that to what he is now. And it's like, you know, that right there should motivate the hell out of you. You know, for sure. Just knowing, you know, he took, you know, the MF word and, you know, skyrocketed to the moon. And I love that about him. I love that. He didn't, you know, switch up for Hollywood. Yeah. And, oh, well, I'm going to tone this down. No, he said MF even more. and people loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the way he says it. Only Samuel Jackson can say MF the way he says it, and just his whole, you know, how he carries himself. You know, and so people like that inspire me. Morgan Freeman. If you look at Morgan Freeman's story and listen to him talk about his story in interviews, how long he was actually acting and in it. And I think it was like 60 when he finally took off.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, times I thought about quitting, you know, it's like, man, I'm getting older and stuff. And then I think about Morgan Freeman. I think about others. I'm like, you know, age 60, you know, that's going until you're like, yeah, I'm going to make it and die.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
so
dedication.
Yeah. So people like that, Oprah, you know, Oprah's another one, you know, see her go from her humble beginnings, being a news anchor, to being determined. And I like people that they say something or give advice about something, but you can see their path and see that, you know, they live it. They're not just saying it. That's the people I listen to. They got a track record. You know, you can see like, hey, that person could easily quit. Right. And God knows, you can only imagine what some things they might have ran into or things they dealt with on the way up, you know, to being a news anchor, a black woman being a news anchor, going all the way to being a billionaire and media mogul, you know, and a hell of an actress. Yeah. You know, so people like that.
That's amazing. I am positive that someday I'm going to be asking somebody that same question and they're going to say Dominic Santana.
I hope so.
I think so. You're definitely on that path.
I'll try to be a motivation to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm human. I got my bads, got my goods. Yeah. You know, I've done a lot of crazy stuff in life. I've done a lot of things where I could tell people, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
I've done it for you already. It doesn't work.
Learn from my example, right?
Yeah, so I try to, you know, do what, you know, I'm just used to for my family. You know, my Uncle Lewis, my mother. You know, I got good family members that, you know, they've been through things and they are real, you know, they were real big on imparting wisdom on us younger. And those were things that later on, we might not have understood then, but later on, it's like, I remember that. I was able to avoid certain things. Yeah. So I know how important that is. Everybody won't listen to you, but, you know, there are a lot of people who will. Like, prime example, my Facebook, I don't really use it to, you know, I hate seeing, you know, people come, you get on Facebook and it's like people complaining and people arguing and, you know, nobody wants to get on social media and see all that crap. Yeah. You know, so I focus mine more on, you know, inspiring people, posting funny stuff, you know, but a lot of quotes and a lot of advice and just wisdom from my experiences. Right. And I just have a habit of doing that. And I was kind of doing it for the first little while, a couple of years back. And then, you know, people would inbox me and be like, man, I needed to hear that today, you know. And even if it's just one person, you know, I don't know what they're going through, but, you know, whatever they read, you know, it might have been something that they needed to hear that day. And when people are inboxing me saying, man, you know, I was going to quit today, you know, on my dream, you know, and then I read your post, you know, you were right on time and I'm going to keep pushing forward. Now I'm back motivated, you know, so I was like, oh, people really need this stuff. Yes. You know? And so I just kept doing it.
Nice.
Frank, you on Pop 24/7. It's on.
I'm gonna be there an hour tops, all right? 1 hour. Then I'm coming right back to you.
Yo, Pac, what up?
So, I have to know, if you had the opportunity to sit down with Pac for 5 minutes, what would you ask him? What would you talk about?
Man, that's a hard one. Because if that ever happened, we'd probably talk all week. Yeah. I think the main thing I would ask, what I would say is, I'd ask him, Pac, what would you have done different? You know, knowing what you know now, you know, what would you have done different? What choices would you have made? Would you still went the same way, or would you went a different way? You know? I think that answer would be the most interesting. Yeah. Just because we didn't get to see, you know, what his evolution was coming to. You know, so we kind of got an idea, but, you know, we just didn't get to see it. You know, so it's like, you know, and he was so smart, you know, and talented and wise, you know. So some of the things that he got into, and some of the paths he went down, it was kind of like, you know, why? You know, why? We know you knew better, you know, or we know you knew some things around you weren't right. So what was it that made you say, hell with it, we're going down this path anyway?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely asked him, what would you do different?
That's a good question. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the film out June 16th, right?
Yeah, June 16th.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Anything else you have upcoming that you want to plug that we should be looking out for?
Working with my producer partner, Chasen Beecham. Shout out to Chasen and Podium Films. So we're working on some a show called Protege, about UFC fighters and their proteges. A show called The UC that I created. And that's producing wise. I'd also star in that show, so I'd be producing and starring. So we're trying to work with Netflix to get that on.
Nice.
Writing, trying to sell some scripts. I've sold one already before, and it got made into a movie.
Yes,
so trying to replicate.
Mr. Right, right?
Yeah, Mr. Right. Yeah, so trying to replicate that success and grow it. And then more acting. I've kind of been holding up on the acting gigs, not really accepting anything until A, I get back down to my size that I want to be, and B, just when the movie comes out, people trying to get in, on the cheap side. Let's get them now.
Yeah.
And so,
nah.
I'm gonna make you wait. Gonna make you wait. So, the good thing is, a lot of the major studios are, they're snooping around and they're asking questions and checking the schedules. So I'm like, okay, that's a good sign.
That is a good
So we'll see. We'll get into something crazy.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on everything. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and all of our fans out there and your fans are super excited to see this film. I know I am. Big Pac fan.
I love the fans.
Definitely looking forward to it. And thank you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else at Miaira Jennings. And where can they find you, Dominic?
You can find me on Instagram at official Dom Santana. That's D-O-M Santana. And Snapchat Santana Dom D-O-M. And Twitter. Twitter is Dominic Santana, capital D, capital S, all one word.